right, guys, so recording has not been happening lately, but we've made a lot of progress. We've actually done a lot of things since I last updated you guys. I think the truck was like completely torn apart at the end of the last video. So let's jump on into it and see what we got going on. So we pulled the engine back out. We cleaned all the block surface and we high temp primer and painted it with just like, it's like a matte black. You guys can tell. I think it's even less glossy in person than what it looks like on the video here. But then got our fuel lines back on just so we can get our wiring started. We'll dive into that in a second. But when we had the engine out, we stripped the firewall, cleaned it, primed it, painted it with a semi-gloss, and it looks actually awesome. Like, I'm super stoked with how that turned out. That's why the shocks are still covered in paint, and then I'm gonna clean up all these bars. And then we picked up a D&J. This is just like their stage one, which has exhaust porting, thread-in freeze plugs. It is fire ringed. There's whatever tool steel retainers, and then 110-pound valve springs, I believe. Nothing crazy. You know, this is your 1,000 to 1,300 horsepower head. Will do plenty for us for this season. Also, our injectors, which are not actually in, I just have the feed tubes in and the lines on. Those have not showed up yet, but they are paid for. They are going to be Flux 400% over injectors to pair with this 8596 with a stock bottom end. So that'll be interesting. The wiring I did not film because I had Jacob, who helped with the trans on the LML, as you guys probably remember. He came down and was helping me with the standalone 849 ECM. Now this is pretty much, we stripped the factory harness, pulled all the pins out that we don't need, and then we pretty much just began lengthening all the wires to route the wiring exactly how we wanted. And I say we, I really didn't do anything. Jacob came down and helped out a ton on this. And as you can see, a lot of these pins have been pulled out, or the wires have been pulled out and depinned. And then we began to extend the wires. Like, here's all of our injector wires right here. And then we have like our map sensor. This is our FCA. We gotta do that one still. And then we need to do, this is a coolant temp sensor. So pretty much everything is gonna be pretty much look wire free. Now, this I'm gonna route, I believe I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna get a grommet for this, but then it's gonna come down here, and then across here, behind here, and then loop up from underneath, and it'll come up like right here for the connectors. And then we're gonna wire in two OBD2 ports, one here, one here. One will be for the flash scan to data log and flash tune files in, and then the other one will be for probably a CTS3 for a monitor for this year until I do an AEM setup. But that's a lot of money that we're gonna hold off on for now. Now up here, we're gonna make this look as seamless as possible. So obviously it's gonna come through here. Then we're gonna tuck these wires in behind the fuel rail and then just kind of come up and loop, up and loop. And then obviously this will split off for the rail pressure sensor. And then we're actually gonna loop it down underneath the intake shelf and tuck it up under here. And then we're gonna come to the FCA, which is right, well, the FCA will be like right here. And then we'll come down behind the CP3 and we'll loop around for the cam and the crank sensor here. And then we'll have the map sensor will be somewhere right in here. We'll kind of loop that, come underneath as well. So then, and then one more across the front here for the coolant sensor. So pretty much, I know it's a lot of talking, but you are going to see almost no wires besides one little wire loom right here. That's all you're gonna see, and then obviously going into the cab, that's pretty impossible to hide. Other than that, it will look pretty much wire-free. Granted, that is just the ECM harness, keep in mind. We still have nitrous, Davis box for the bump and shifting for the air solenoid, and then, I don't know, there's more, lockup, overdrive, all that stuff, trans brake. So there's still a lot of wiring to do, but that stuff is something we'll dive into later on. And then also, as you guys can tell, I got all the doors back on and the panels because this truck is going down to Maverick Diesels Dyno Day. And we're just gonna kind of put it on display and show it off. They have helped out a lot with the truck, so we're going to bring it down, show it off for their event, and do them that. And then I believe the truck is gonna stay down there. Now today, this mumbo jumbo mess, oh, I didn't even cover this. I bought this axle as well because this one was bent. I don't know if I ever showed that on video. So if you look from right here, you can see that that tire is tilted in like that. It's cambered in. That is because this axle was in an accident before he pulled it out, and he didn't realize it until he put tires on it, the previous owner. And this upper ball joint support here is bent in. So we picked up a new axle from a junkyard that was not parted out because of an accident. So this one should be good to go. We're obviously going to go through the whole axle before for safety reasons, but like accident wise, this one was not in, so it should be good to clean up and throw in the truck. So that is kind of the plan for today, is to get the axle cleaned up and painted. That is my goal for today. It is Saturday and I have some stuff going on later today about 5:30. It's currently like 1:30, so we got about 4 hours to get that thing all cleaned up and then brake cleaned, prepped for paint, primered, and painted. Also, I forgot to say, I also did order or pay for a set of 625s. They were new in box, never used. Got a pretty good deal on them. So I jumped on them. I still need a firing head gasket, and then I need push rods, and I think that's it. Now we can put the whole top end of the engine together, and that thing will be ready to rip, hopefully. I still do want to take a look at the main bearings before I run this engine though. But with that being said, lots of talking. Let's get into the time lapse and get that cleaned up. Alright guys, so it's a new day and we're going to start on the wiring harness a little more. Now Jacob was doing everything, but it's hard to get both of our schedules to line up. He does live 2 hours away, 2.5 actually. So we are going to do some of the stuff ourselves, and it is an absolute mess in here, but ignore that. The good news is this is the first day that I have worked in this shop with the overhead door open. And we also picked ourselves up a new jack, old Harbor Freight Badland jack. I don't know, I've always wanted one of these, so I bought it. Anyway, let's get to it. We're gonna start twisting some wires. We already got a couple cut to length and go from there. Okay, so here's our extension for the crank signal. Oh, here, I'll throw it up here on the tailgate. So I just pretty much put this end in the vise and then this end in the drill. Drill it. Always spin it. What I found works best is spin it farther than you think you need to, like more than you need to, and then let it out. I don't know, just kind of keeps it from wanting to like twist up on you, if that makes sense. If you ever do it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So that's ready to go. Just got to splice in the wires from the ECM into the crank sensor. So I don't know how everybody else does this. Call me not a professional because I am not. So once I have my wires spun, I run them the length to the sensor, and then I work back to the ECM. This might be backwards to other people. To me, it just works. So sensor, following it up, because I'm gonna tuck this harness, you know, all these wires are gonna get tucked underneath the intake shelf so you can't see them to tuck the wires. And then once I get them to the merge point, as I call it, which is, for me, it's the firewall right here, then I tape them there at the correct length. And then I come inside to the cab So there's a lot of back and forth here. Make sure the length is correct to run the rest of the harness all the way up. And then I take so like, for example, these are the crank wires here. So then I have a little bit of extra here. As you can see, I have extra wire. Then I can cut it to the exact length that I want inside the cab, splice them, good to go. Now, I'm gonna copy and paste that set of wires before I splice them in, because if you look, the cam is right here and the crank is right here. So they're almost the exact same length. So I'm just gonna duplicate that 3 set of wires and make another set for the cam. And then inside the loom, I don't have enough different colored wires, so I'm actually taping. I'm gonna tape them all at the same points. That way I know if I need to diagnose a wiring issue, I can open the loom up right here and it will tell me what each set of wires is going to. And then from there I can just continuity test. I'll show you guys how this will want to unspin after, but don't worry, it only does it to a certain point. It's like here, say I wanna stop there, right? So now I'm gonna come back a little bit. Loosen, now 1 second. Took the drill off. And now in my hands, it's wanting to spin, see that? But if you just let it kind of go naturally, it will come to a decent resting point, which is about right there. Now, if you walk it up, you'll see it won't want to spin up into a ball, because most of the time it'll want to like spin like that. But if you let it out enough, it will kind of just hang just how you want, like so. All right, so here's where we've gotten. We have crank, cam, and FPR, or whatever you guys call it, FCA. Kind of showed you how I'm going to tuck these wires. That's probably about as far as I'm going to get today. I kind of got to go back to work, so I'm going to end off here. Okay, we got a little further. So I loomed up the injector harness and the fuel rail pressure sensor. So I got right here. This is all done. And then as well as down by the crank, like you saw before, these wires will tuck up underneath out of sight, and that will look pretty clean. But I don't want to loom this yet because I do have to run the coolant sensor is going to come through here to go to here, and then the alternator as well is going to go over there. The highest of quality on this race truck build.
It is.
Intercooler mount, looking mint. My welds average at best on a good day. Today was an okay day. See what Harkin's got, he's doing the other one. But I should probably catch up to speed on the other stuff we've been doing. So I think we got the nitrous block in there. Okay, we did not cover the nitrous block. I lied to you guys. This is a Beans machine. Hold on, we gotta do 180 here. There you go. Distribution block for nitrous. You can run a 8AN ORB fitting into here. 8AN here, and then it gives you 3/8 NPT out, and you get 3 of them, which will be plenty of nitrous for us. This should flow enough nitrous for us to do 2,000 one day, so I'm not too worried about this. I don't need to go to the nitrous rail from, I believe Hammer Tech makes it, not that far yet. This will be a pretty nice, easy setup. It's a little close to the exhaust housing. I'm gonna P-clamp this down, and that should keep a nice easy bend. I don't want to do a 90-degree fitting because it reduces nitrous flow significantly. That should be plenty far away. This is just wire loom on the outside. Underneath it is a steel braided wire, which should prevent any sort of heat soak. Worst case, I'll do a little bit of heat tape right there. Not worried about that. We did run the nitrous feed line. It's underneath the truck, inside of the frame rail, nice and hidden. Then it comes up the back of the cab, follows the cage up, and then loops into our bottle. Now we did go on our crossbar here for the upper bottle mount, and the lower I may have had to make a bracket and something for that nitrous bottle to sit on just to make it easier to change it. While this isn't the prettiest and I really didn't like how this turned out, it'll work for now. I'm sure Paul and them are going to want to redo that because that's probably the sloppiest thing I've done on this truck so far. Other than that, we didn't get very far. We got our center pieces ordered for our other wheels, so then I can bolt my 12 wide bead blocks on, and then I got to get these tires swapped back over. And I got them ordered for the front too, so for the dyno day next weekend, which is 7 days away, I can have it sitting on slicks on all 4 so it looks presentable. Now, other than that, we're really just trying to make it presentable for the weekend, which I think we're gonna be able to do. I think it's gonna look pretty good. Hopefully the truck cleans up nice. I've never actually washed this truck before, so that'll be interesting. Other than that, man, that's about it. It's probably about as far as we're gonna get before the dyno day. Actually, I've been lying to you guys. I'm holding out. I got my fluid damper here. Boom. Brand new in box. Found that on Marketplace. I got push rods. I picked up a used alternator that's not used, but kind of used. And then I have the fire ring head gasket, and then we got Harkin doing some welding over here. Hold on. Oh boy. Not bad. There's some dimes in there. And then the intercooler is mounted, so this looks pretty good. Stand back. It's starting to kind of look like a truck here. Kind of scary. But we still got to do, I'm going to cut this tab off here, grind it flush, move this tab to right here. Just because right now, as you can tell, it's not even, and I don't like that. And then we're just going to do a little piece of DOM. We're going to put a bolt through this. Camera's not wanting to focus today. Little piece of DOM, and it's going to go through the DOM, and then we're going to have a piece of rod welded to the DOM, and it's going to come probably right through here, and then it's probably going to come down to right here, I would think. So like here, and then 45 over to here. That should clear this 90. Should clear that 90, and then same thing on this side. We got to clear. This will get Vangeon clamped here, and then it will be in like 45, and then into probably a 90, I would think. I don't know. We'll figure. That's for Paul to do. Paul's gonna figure that out. Then this is gonna come up to here, and then 45 across to like right here, and that will sturdy up the top. Other than that, I think we're looking pretty good. Brand new fire rings for that, and then my 625 studs are sitting at Maverick ready to go in. So when I get down, I'll probably put the top end of this engine together, at least as far as I can. And then I did get word from Flux. Mitchell texted April, who's the owner of Flux, and again, thank you to them for helping out on this truck, because they're gonna have my 400% overs ready to go probably right after the dyno day. I'm also getting to meet them at the dyno day, which is kind of cool to put a face to the name. So I'm gonna get this video up before the dyno day. So be ready for that, because that is gonna be an awesome event. If you're in the area, come on out. Drag racing, $10 to enter. You can run as many times as you want. And then dyno, I'm not sure how much the dyno is, but you get 3 hits on the dyno. Free beer, there'll be food there. Just overall going to be a fun event, and you can check this truck out.